Have you ever wondered where your African roots could be traced? A new DNA registry says they can track your bloodline back to the African continent. I tried it, and I'll share my results. And Bob Jordan takes us into a gem on the city's south side, carrying a rich history of African American art that's inspiring artists of the future. And we'll meet the curator of a special calendar that honors Black history. That's all ahead in today's People to People. Welcome to People to People. I'm Courtney Hall, and I'll be your host for today. I'm excited to share our first story with you because it's a personal one. DNA tests are becoming more commonplace and allowing many African Americans to trace ancestry through genetics. I tried it. I decided to take that leap, and in doing so, I started a journey that's opened up a whole new world. The test I took is simply called African Ancestry, the same one done by Oprah, Common, and Isaiah Washington.
Brother Washington, for your mitochondrial DNA, it's quite common among the Mende and Temne people in Sierra Leone.
Yeah! Just a swab of the mouth, send in my DNA, and a few months later... All right, I got the results. Senegal. Gina Page is the co-founder of the company.
I was excited that we found Mandinka for you.
Here's how it's done. African Ancestry looked at my mitochondrial DNA. That's genetics specifically inherited from my mother and her mother and her mother's mother, and so on.
We then looked for that matching mitochondrial DNA around the world, and we found it in Africa. And then we were able to be more specific using the African lineage database to find that there are people living in Senegal today who are Mandinka people who have the same mitochondrial DNA that you do.
Armed with this new information, I set out to find more about the Senegalese community in Chicago. I found myself at the restaurant Badu.
Mandinka people living in Senegal. Wow, this is beautiful. The Mandingo people, you can find them in Senegal, in the southern part of Senegal.
Do I look like I'm from Senegal?
Oh my goodness. Definitely a Senegalese.
Badu has lived in Chicago for the past 22 years.
I'm from Dakar. I'm from Dakar. Dakar is the capital of Senegal. I am among the first Senegalese who set foot here, who settled here in Chicago. It's growing. We are over 2,000 Senegalese in Chicago now.
2 years ago, he decided to open this North Side restaurant, sharing some of his heritage with the rest of Chicago, and now me. Over food, Badu, his wife, and his friend Simon tell me more about Senegal, the community here in Chicago, and of course, the places I must visit.
The first thing is to visit Gorée.
That's the port where millions of enslaved people were taken and shipped to America. This door is called the Door of No Return because people would never see their homeland again.
These are just, numbers. It doesn't even, reflect the reality.
African Ancestry is just one of a few companies gaining popularity with people who want to find out who our ancestors were before our family histories were cut off.
We're the only group in this country that cannot point to a country of ancestry. African Americans have to point to an entire continent.
This service seeks to remedy that. But it's not without its critics who discredit the results, citing the limitations of genetic databases. And different companies may give different information. African Ancestry admits this genealogy test can only provide information about a tiny fraction of ancestry.
Clearly, we disagree with the critics in terms of their conclusion. We use our proprietary database, which is the African Lineage Database. It's the largest database of indigenous African lineages in the world. So we have over 33,000 indigenous African lineages.
However small this piece of information is, it's more than I had. And Badu says, from what he's seen, it's knowledge that's life-changing.
When I came to the United States and started taking these African-American tourists to Senegal, wow, man, it was like amazing. It was amazing because people were so emotional. They were throwing themselves on the floor. They were screaming out loud. They were crying. You see tears. And it was so deep that I really felt you know, that connection. The door of non-return is no longer the door of non-return.
Pretty interesting, right? Well, when we return, we'll hear more about life in Senegal from a man who's been bringing its culture and cuisine to Chicagoans for years. Stay with us.